Hello, my name is Jo Norris, and today we will be observing and discussing the concept of cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation has been identified as the stealing of intellectual property, traditional cultural knowledge and expression, and the symbols or artifacts that are important to such culture's identity. Often, people are unable to differentiate between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation, and this is why it is so important to educate students on the impact that cultural appropriation has on identity. The appropriation of a group's traditions and symbols has an increasingly serious effect on the cultural identity of marginalized groups within our society. Through the act of taking another culture's intellectual and traditional property and changing them in the way that cultural appropriation does, it begins to erode and degrade cultural identity. Through this, diversity in society is threatened. Therefore, in regards to Indigenous Australians, cultural appropriation can appear to be a form of cultural genocide as it destroys the integrity and importance of Indigenous identity. To further explore the concept of cultural appropriation, I will be using the art form of slam poetry. Youth slam poetry allows participants to communicate enthusiastically and passionately about issues to an audience. In regards to cultural appropriation, participants can communicate their own experiences as well as the experiences of others, while also educating the audience on the issues. The slam poetry performance I'm going to show you today focuses on the common cultural appropriation of various cultures. While watching the performance, I would like you to identify the types of appropriation the speakers discuss and also think about how the culture of Indigenous Australians is appropriated in everyday society.
In case it isn't obvious, I'm not white. I do like cheeseburgers though.
And Adele.
And blue jeans. Sometimes I rock out to heavy metal.
And sometimes I'll order a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks.
But at the end of the day, my parents still came here from Guyana. I am still a black boy trying to make it in America. Growing up, I was teased because my lunch couldn't fit between 2 slices of bread. The spices from grandmother's curry weren't packaged in a Lunchable.
In the 6th grade, I threw away my lunch every day. Bought a slice of pizza instead.
Told no one of the emptiness in my stomach, how it growled louder each year. Now, everyone wants a mouthful of my culture. I'm craving something ethnic.
I'm not just a Indian spot where they eat with their hands.
Or my personal favorite, I want authentic Mexican food. Let's get Chipotle! It seems cheeseburgers and blue jeans just aren't enough anymore.
You gotta put a bindi on your forehead too.
Put dreadlocks in your hair. Cultural appropriation. Borrow from minority cultures for their own benefit. This means Miley Cyrus shouldn't twerk unless her body can sway with the songs of Brother Anansi.
I've been had Cara Delevingne's eyebrows, but y'all didn't think them shit was on fleek when I was in middle school. You can wake up in the morning and choose which race you feel like being today. White people be like,
Okay, I just don't get what the big deal is.
yeah, like what about white culture?
There's no such thing as white culture!
Alexandria, Cleopatra.
Oh, black woman with the watermelon in her hands. And she gets away with that shit. Because how white people been taking what doesn't belong to them for centuries? Old habits die hard. And I'm sick of people saying that I'm overreacting.
In 2012, a white supremacist fatally shot 6 people in a holy temple in Wisconsin.
In 2015, the Charleston shooting left 9 dead during a prayer service in a black church. Unless you're prepared to watch your people lose their lives in their place of worship, you can't have my culture because my faith comes with it. My skin comes with it. Everybody gets to be black until those sirens are at your back.
Everyone wants to be exotic until you're playing for the next terrorist attack. I didn't cut my hair for 18 years because I had to follow the rules of my religion.
I had to cut my hair for 16 years because my father feared it'd get me killed. But y'all pick and choose which parts of me to cut and style. These roots are not yours to begin with. You can't have my culture.
No, I didn't count the lives that were lost just so I could celebrate it.
You can't have my culture. Not when it's my only connection to a home I've never been to. You can't have my culture.
In the performance, I hope that you have identified a few of the cultural appropriation offences that the performers spoke about. I also hope that you have begun to consider how cultural appropriation could affect Indigenous peoples. To draw further understanding of this, I would like you to consider how you would structure your own slam poem and what you would discuss with a focus on the appropriation of Indigenous cultures. Through viewing this performance and participating in this activity, I hope that you would hold a better understanding on the damaging effects that cultural appropriation has on cultural identity. I hope that this assists you in being able to identify the cultural appropriation that surrounds us almost every day, and to be able to talk about how to stop the degradation of the marginalised groups in our society. Thank you.